Hello, I'm your host, Ollie Guacamole. This is the first of 6 hikes that I'll be taking you on. The level of difficulty is easy to moderate, so you can bring your kids. I will not be bringing Tabitha on this hike because of the level of difficulty. I love to hike and I love to read. So during this hike, I'll be reading to you a practical guide to personal freedom. It's called The Four Agreements. It was written by Don Miguel Ruiz. I hope you enjoy it. Thousands of years ago, the Toltec were known throughout southern Mexico as women and men of knowledge. Anthropologists have spoken of the Toltec as a nation or a race, but in fact, the Toltec were scientists and artists who formed a society to explore and conserve the spiritual knowledge and practices of the ancient ones. They came together as masters, nobles, and students at Teotihuacan, the ancient city of pyramids outside Mexico City, known as the place where man becomes God. Introduction: The Smoky Mirror. 3,000 years ago, there was a human, just like you and me, who lived near a city surrounded by mountains. The human was studying to become a medicine man, to learn the knowledge of his ancestors, but he didn't completely agree with everything he was learning. In his heart, he felt there must be something more. One day, as he slept in a cave, he dreamed he saw his own body sleeping. He came out of the cave on the night of a new moon. The sky was clear and he could see 1,000,000 stars. Then something happened inside of him that transformed his life forever. He looked at his hands, he felt his body, and he heard his own voice say, "I am made of light. I am made of stars." He looked at the stars again and realized that it is not the stars that create light, but rather light that creates the stars. "Everything is made of light," he said, "and the space in between isn't empty." And he knew that everything that exists in one living being, and that light is the messenger of life, because it is alive and contains all information. Then he realized that although he was made of stars, he was not those stars. "I am in between the stars," he thought. So he called the stars tonal, and the light in between the stars nagal. And he knew that what created the harmony and space between the two is life or intent. Without life, the tonal and the nagal could not exist. Life is the force of the absolute, the supreme, the creator who creates everything. This is what he discovered. Everything in existence is a manifestation of the one living being we call God. Everything is God, and he came to the conclusion that human perception is merely light perceiving light. He also saw that matter is a mirror. Everything is a mirror that reflects light and creates images of that light. And the world of illusion, the dream, is like smoke which doesn't allow us to see what we really are. The real us is pure love, pure light, he said. This realization changed his life. Once he knew what he really was, he looked around at other humans and the rest of nature, and he was amazed at what he saw. He saw himself in everything and in every human, in every animal, in every tree, in the water and in the rain, in the clouds, in the earth. And he saw that life mixed with tonal and nagal in different ways to create billions of manifestations of life. In those few moments, he comprehended everything. He was very excited, and his heart was filled with peace. He could hardly wait to tell his people what he had discovered, but there were no words to explain it. He tried to tell others, but they could not understand. They could see he had changed, that something beautiful was radiating from his eyes and his voice. They noticed that he no longer had judgment about anything or anyone. He was no longer like anyone else. He could understand everyone very well, but no one could understand him. They believed that he was an incarnation of God, and he smiled when he heard this, and he said, "It is true, I am God, but you are also God. We are the same, you and I. We are images of light. We are God." But still, the people didn't understand him. He had discovered that he was a mirror for the rest of the people, a mirror in which he could see himself. Everyone is a mirror, he said. He saw himself in everyone, but nobody saw him in themselves. And he realized that everyone was dreaming, but without awareness, without knowing what they really are. They couldn't see him in themselves because there was a wall of fog or smoke between the mirrors. And that wall of fog was made by the interpretation of images of light, the dream of humans. Then he knew that he would soon forget all that he had learned. He wanted to remember all the visions that he had had, so he decided to call himself the Smoky Mirror, so that he would always know that matter is a mirror, and the smoke in between is what keeps us from knowing what we are. He said, "I am the Smoky Mirror because I am looking at myself in all of you. But we don't recognize each other because of the smoke in between us. That smoke is the dream, and the mirror is you, the dreamer." Be impeccable with your word. Now let's see what the word impeccability means. Impeccability means without sin. Impeccable comes from the Latin peccatus, which means sin, and the im in impeccable means without. So impeccable means without sin. Religion talks about sin and sinners, but let's understand what it really means to sin. A sin is anything that you do which goes against yourself. Everything you feel or believe or say that goes against yourself is a sin. You go against yourself when you judge or blame yourself for anything. Being without sin is exactly the opposite. Being impeccable is not going against yourself. When you are impeccable, you take responsibility for your actions, but you do not judge or blame yourself. The second agreement: don't take anything personally. Even when a situation seems so personal, even if others insult you directly, it has nothing to do with you. What they say, what they do, and the opinions that they give are according to the agreements that they have in their own minds. Their point of view comes from all the programming they received during domestication. The third agreement is don't make assumptions. We have the tendency to make assumptions about everything. The problem with making assumptions is that we believe they are the truth. We could swear they are real. We make assumptions about what others are doing or thinking. We take it personally, and then we blame them and react by sending emotional poison with our word. That is why, whenever we make assumptions, we are asking for problems. We make an assumption, we misunderstand, we take it personally, and then we end up creating a whole big drama for nothing. There's just one more agreement, but it is the one that allows the other three to become deeply ingrained habits. Always do your best. Doing your best, you are going to live your life intensely. You're going to be productive. You're going to be good to yourself because you will be giving yourself to your family, to your community, to everything. But it is the action that is going to make you feel intensely happy. When you always do your best, you take action. Doing your best is taking action because you love it, not because you're expecting a reward. Well, that's all for today. This book is full of prayers, affirmations, short stories. I hope you look into getting it. It's only $5. It's helped me to let go of judgment of others, and it really validated my belief that we're all connected. Thank you for listening.